the Giants had made some moves before they played against Washington. Their newly acquired offensive lineman Billy Price was to play center. This happens because within the first few minutes, the offensive lineman Gates ended up injuring his leg. Ended up him being out for the year. Which, I'm not a big fan of him. It's not personal. It's not because I'm a Cowboys fan either. It's just because, to me, he's a guy that just doesn't. He would not also fit very well with the new rule of taunting, because he just always is at you and always taking the last shot at you. So it's very much like I didn't care for him. I'm not happy he's hurt. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anyone to get hurt. But him being on the field, it's like one less problem to worry about. That's the way you have to look at it as anyone else, as a fan. But they had to make some moves on their offensive line, in which they did. The 49ers finalized a deal with veteran Drake Kirkpatrick. This happened because the 49ers have been getting hurt at a cornerback position as they lost Jason Verrett. Signing Drake Kirkpatrick was a good idea. Kept him in. He's now a 49er. The Cowboys were able to bring up Zach Martin and Brandon Knight. That's the key. Everyone forgot about Brandon Knight. From a COVID list. Having to put Randy Gregory on it, though. As we did not see him against the Chargers this past weekend. Also had to put Michael Gallup on the IR with the calf injury. Now, as many of you know, I felt like all last year the Cowboys should have made the move with Zach Martin, moved him to tackle, put Con McGovern in there, and like you could say, oh, well, that's what happened, and eventually. Well, yeah, it was a lost year. At that point, it was no real point to do it. You should have done it earlier. San Francisco's head coach Kyle Shanahan said when he was talking about the Raheem Mostert injury, he basically said it was only chipped cartilage, but if you looked at our first video, Mostert decided to have a season-ending surgery. So that ended that conversation. When I heard this news, again, as a Cowboys fan, I looked at it as one less thing to worry about, but again, very sorry for him to get hurt. It was Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham, the defensive lineman, who we kind of referenced earlier in our first video, of him not being there. It's really unfortunate. He ended up tearing his Achilles, an MRI to most likely confirm, but we already pretty much know the diagnosis of what it is. Now, the good for the Eagles is they do have some veterans that can fill those holes, but Brandon Graham is such a big factor. I don't know if it's possible. And that's the way the NFL season goes. You're going to have injuries. You just got to deal with it the best you can. Like, not everyone, like the Cowboys, they had, and even look at the Ravens, just before they started the games, they had 15 people on IR. 15! At that point, we only played 1 week. They played 1 week, they had 15 guys on IR. It's just the way the NFL season ends up going.